WNBA star Brittany Griner has been sentenced to 9 years in a Russia prison on drug charges. I mentioned the story when it started, when she was first arrested in Russia for having a vape cartridge of weed on her, which at the time, and still would say, was her bad. Probably shouldn't be traveling to countries where weed is extremely illegal. Maybe get it there, wherever you're traveling to. But as many basketball stars do, will play in leagues in other countries during the offseason, and I believe that's what she was doing. But while traveling, she got busted with some weed. And, this story is horrible. She shouldn't be in prison for 9 years for having an extremely small amount of weed. But also, this story is a story that could easily be about somebody getting arrested in Texas for weed. There are many places in the United States where people are regularly arrested and imprisoned for having weed on them, for having any amount of weed. A plant that is responsible for 0 deaths in the history of humanity. It is one of the safest compounds that you can ingest. Meanwhile, aspirin, alcohol, and even water can easily be consumed at a rate that would kill you. It's impossible to die from consuming too much weed, yet it is demonized. And it's demonized specifically in order to put people in cages. That's what Russia's doing, and that's what like 40,000 Americans are in prison today in this country, not in Russia. In the United States of America, there's about 40,000 people in prison for weed-related charges. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And another story I saw compared to this one is that there was a white woman who got busted in Russia for weed and received a much lighter sentence, far less time in prison and far much smaller fine compared to Brittany's prison sentence and fine, which again is exactly the same that we see in the United States. We see how similar the United States is to Russia, imprisoning people for no reason because of a plant, and people of color receiving much harsher sentences than white people. Both things the exact same in Russia and in the United States. We also see how the police treat people in Russia. We see how the police treat people in the United States. And yet we pretend like we are so much better. Like we live in such a free country. It's like so delusional, so many people in this country, of the reality that we're living in. The reality that we are living in a fascist state. In a reality where the police and the military are the most funded aspects of our society. Education, homelessness, children, poverty, all of those things, nah. Medicine, nah. That's all socialism. We need to invest in police. We need to invest in the military. Nah. It's ridiculous. It is disgusting. And, seeing this happen to Brittany, it literally could have happened to her in Texas. Now, she probably, because she's an NBA star, WNBA star, probably wouldn't have. She would have had more leverage in the United States, most likely. Or the cops would have just killed her. Cops do that all the time in the United States. They just kill people and get away with it regularly. So who knows what would have happened if this took place in the United States, but it wouldn't have been much different than what's happening in Russia. And her whole situation is really more of a political bargaining chip. Like, I don't know, like Biden says he wants to exchange prisoners for her. But it's like we have 40,000 about people in cages in this country for the same reasons. It's like maybe release, maybe empty out some of our prisons of people that are in there for non-violent drug offenses, for people who are arrested for having a plant that's never caused a death in human history. So I don't know. She finally got her sentencing. Who knows? Like, it's going to be, it's a sad situation. Who knows what Russian prisons are like? But, you know, not that American prisons really treat people with a lot of humanity anyway. And it's just, in more instances, the story in more ways highlights the similarities between Russia and America than highlights the differences. Like, people that are only offended that she's being arrested in Russia but don't have a problem with the fact that people are regularly imprisoned in America for the same thing. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So anyway, hopefully good. Like, I want the best for her. It's ridiculous that she got arrested to begin with. She shouldn't have, like, this is just us. For everybody out there who's traveling internationally, maybe don't travel with weed, especially in countries where it's super illegal. And I know there's a lot of comedians that love talking about how they snuck weed in to this place or that place, but that could easily be them. That could easily be comedian locked up in prison for 9 years because they had a vape cartridge on them, because they thought they were going to get it through, right? So they can, you know, put it on a stand-up special. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.